Welcome back for another episode of Live from Redhook here at the Function House. I'm Mike Gentile, along here with Anthony Vitale. And tonight, our special guest is DJ Klutch.
Sir, thank you for having me, man.
Welcome, sir.
Excited.
What's going on, man?
Hanging, man. Same old work.
Let's talk about how this all started, how you got into this whole DJ game.
Man, I was 15 when I started. So I started at 15 doing...
So that was 10 years ago, right?
I wish. 10 years ago would be great. Yeah, I was 15.
You're only 25?
Yeah, believe it or not. So, yeah, I started 10 years. Now you got me saying 10 years. So 15, doing a T-night circuit in Staten Island, that whole thing. Ended up throwing my own parties in Staten Island. Then I started like doing, as I got older, like junior year of high school or so. I started doing like prom, like after prom parties. Like they used to do them at like Sound Factory and places like that. I met up with Mike Better and Jeff Adler from Fusion.
Okay.
I know you.
Yeah, of course.
So they saw that I was bringing like just so many people out with my boy Greg at the time, who was also like the promoter. I was the DJ type of thing. So we were selling tickets for them. As soon as like I hit 18, like when I was a senior in high school, they gave me my first night at Sound Factory, and I was opening for Ted the Dillinger at the time. So that was like my first introduction into like New York City.
So you were born and raised in Staten Island?
Well, born in Brooklyn, but I moved out.
What
like,
part of Brooklyn were you born in?
I can't even tell you. I was like,
so you were really
literally
young.
like
He's
in
a
and
Brooklyn
out.
transplant.
Yeah. So, but grew up in Staten Island. So that's all I know.
So what actually gave you the bug to actually start DJing? Like everybody starts somewhere, obviously their first party, but like what gave you the inspiration to like start DJing?
My cousin at the time was a DJ, DJ Clever, and he had like turntables in his crib and that whole thing. And I remember seeing him and being like, this is something that like, it just intrigued me. And then
how old were you at this age?
This was 15. Like as soon as he got him at 15, like the same. We were both the same age. He was like my best friend / cousin growing up. And when I saw him, I was like, this is something I need to definitely get into. And then I used to listen to like Flex's Friday Night Street Jam, but I used to listen to music and love music. But then I started listening to it like differently after I saw what he was doing. Then I started like paying attention to things.
So talk to us about that day when you brought home your first pair of turntables, or you got your first pair of turntables. What was that day
They
like?
weren't 1200s. Right?
No, I had one 1200 that another cousin that that also DJ, but he was older. He was like out of it. He gave me one 1200 that he had, and then I had like some other. I can't even tell you what it was, but I had a Scratch Master. I think it was a
Gemini.
Scratch Master.
Every DJ had the Gemini.
Yeah, I had a Scratch Master.
I had one little sampler button. You had the little button.
It never worked though. That sampler button never
never
worked.
But I remember like a year after, my dad got me I used to always go to like Beach Street, and you remember they used to have like those like electronic stores with mixers. There was one that had like the 6 effects. I don't know what it was called, but it was 4-channel and had like 6 buttons on the side.
Now you were like hooking
it was something like that. I had that. I thought I was like ahead of the game with that, with those sound effects.
Beach Street was such a different time, right? Like going there digging for records.
There was nothing like it at all. Like just that whole. Well, you had to like you had to become friends with people.
You wouldn't get the Killer Cut records.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the clubs yet. Like it started hitting me as I started doing like the nightclubs. But DJ 007, do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
I used to open up for him on Limelight on Wednesdays. But I would just carry his records in and do that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I remember he used to always be like, yo, you got to go talk to this one over there and that one. And I would go like, hey, I'm friends with like 007. But they were like the doormen in New York City, basically. Like they were just, you couldn't make friends with them. You had to like earn your way.
You had to spend money there.
Or spend money, like you had to like get in. So it was.
Goldfinger used to work there too.
Yeah. It was a different time, man.
It was.
So who put you on for your first gig?
But it was Mike in New York City. It was Mike and Jeff, and then I started. Eric Hortense also at the time was doing a lot of Sound Factory stuff. From there, I went to I met up with like Jace, not Jace, Alex Cordova, Jace, Richie, and all of them. They got me into like they saw me because I wasn't even supposed to be in the clubs at that age. So when I was playing and like the knowledge of music that I had, it was I just was able to kind of niche my way really in
Yep.
quick, because it was kind of like, he's young, he has a following. Well, my friend had the following, you know what I mean? I just was all concerned about
But
just
it was a good
DJing.
team. It worked well.
Exactly. And then I was just a geek. I just had the musical knowledge to go with it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, growing up as a DJ too. I mean,
Yeah.
we were kind of around the same time coming up.
Yeah.
But your name was always synonymous with being a really good DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, yo, this guy Klutch, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's a great hip hop DJ.
Yeah.
So there was always like that buzz about you out on the street.
I always just kind of, like, my whole thing was when I started up until to this, well, not so much to this day, but I'm sure we'll get to that. But when I started, not that it was easy, I just knew I was always, this is all I did. Like, I wasn't the popular, you know what I'm saying, kid. Like, it wasn't like this whole thing. It was like I just bought records and I DJ'd, and that was it. So I knew for me to create a lane, I knew what people were playing because I was out. I just always went left. Not too left, but I always went left. But to left to where people, like, I would gain respect. So like, if I was opening for Riz, or to this day, if I'm opening for someone big, I never tried to lose that. I still play some records where they're like, yo, and you just win respect that way.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And it's always good to set yourself apart from what everybody else is doing.
100%.
And not a lot of DJs have the balls to
Well,
do that.
Especially
Yeah.
nowadays.
Well,
Nowadays, it's a lot of the
And it's a lot harder now today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot harder.
But it's funny because at that time we were the same.
Yeah, we're in the same.
You were at Limelight,
Yep,
I
Limelight on
believe.
Friday nights.
Yeah, and I was at Factory. So he was.
Yeah, he was just complaining about you. He said you stole some gigs from him.
I did. No, I was like, no
Don't
way.
listen
No, we always had our
I'm only busting.
separate thing. Because you ran with like Riz and Scissorhands, and I
Yeah.
remember when you dropped the record, the Brooklyn Bomb.
Yeah.
And I remember when you dropped that, and we used to talk like
Yeah,
we
of
were
course.
we were friends, but like we would just talk.
Yeah.
Like whenever we got a chance.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I remember when that record dropped, I hit you up, and that was like that was my dream. I was like, yo, I gotta get a record out.
Yeah.
On AVA, and you're like, yo, I'll talk to Riz, because you were friends with them. I didn't.
I used to open
know
up for
those
them
guys yet.
everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, me and him we're like the last of our
It really is.
generation
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
DJs that like bought vinyl and like
So what was it like coming up in Staten Island? I mean, it's a small island. There's
Yeah,
a lot of mobile DJs, but there's also a
Yeah.
couple of very big DJs.
Yeah, I mean,
out
I
of
was
Staten
friends with like
Island.
Richie Santana.
Yep.
We played together at Deco, so it was weird because like I don't feel like Staten Island, as weird as it sounds, like I'm from Staten Island, but I don't think Staten Island made me who I am. If that
No, of
makes
course
sense.
not,
Like
yeah.
I don't. It's mean to say you don't like the place you're from.
So let me ask you this: do you think?
I don't know how to word it the right way.
No, no.
You know what I mean?
Do you think Jersey made you into the person that you are because you kill it in Jersey?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about overall. Like Staten Island is very closed-minded. It's like a bubble. It's like you have to look. Everyone looks a certain way, talk a certain way. It's very like in its own thing.
Well, Staten Island was never like it was never a club scene. Like
Oh,
there was
no,
always
no.
clubs
Yeah,
out there.
the teen nights were cracking.
Yeah,
back
but,
in the day,
but it
but
was
otherwise,
never
no.
like people. I mean, they had a couple of good clubs,
They kill each other.
but it was never like
Just
where
fist
people.
fight. That's all it
were-
was. To this day, they don't know how to stop fighting.
Yeah.
It's just sad,
Yeah.
So, I knew that I just needed to get like the far away as possible
Sure.
from just New York City to be successful.
Bay Street was
You know,
popping for a
the
while.
Bay Street
For a
was
while,
all the
yeah.
teen nights
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
wave
Yeah,
and all of that stuff.
I remember
Yeah.
that was really
It
good.
was-
And what was that other club out in Staten Island? Silo.
Silo was
Silent.
That
big
was for a while.
the biggest.
Then it became Drink, right?
Then-
Posh and then Drink.
Yeah, but Silo was, I think, the only place that
And
did
you had
it
Caves, but that might have been a little bit
That
before
was-
our time, right?
Right. No, Caves was there. That was
Caves
teen,
there,
well,
yeah.
teen nights. I
Teen
remember
nights, yeah,
from,
yeah. Because my
so-
brother did Caves years
Did he?
ago.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it
And
was.
then you had the Wave.
Yep, the
the
Wave.
wave.
The Wave, right?
Yeah, yeah. Staten Island had some things, but it was very cliquey. It's very small. It was very cliquey. I just always had bigger. I just knew in general. I always felt like for me to become anything, I need to get out of the 5 boroughs. And my whole plan was at the time, like when I got into New York City, I was doing Lot 61, like opening for Ben, and I was opening for Mark Ronson at Central Fly. So like I was getting the right looks, and then those eventually turned into like residencies. I started playing like the primetime spots, you know what I mean? So at that time, I was playing all the cool clubs, but then it hit a point where it was kind of like, I was like, now what? You know what I mean? Like I couldn't like I wanted to create more.
Yep.
And I wasn't able to create because it was promoters ran everything. So it was like, it's not that I had to do what they said at that time. It still wasn't at that point yet. But it was like you had to rock a party. I mean, that's what it was, you know.
And you had to play for the crowd as a good DJ would.
Exactly.
But then it lets you veer. You have to veer away from you being creative because maybe the crowd that you're playing for is not as educated as they need to be to understand what you're doing.
Exactly. And there wasn't residencies or like these things like, well, there wasn't in the city at that time, like the bigger guys like the Jonathan Peters and those guys, but hip hop guys, quote me if I'm wrong, I don't think there was many.
There wasn't
like
many.
We did once a month or twice, like, you know, in rotations.
I think Limelight in like
yeah.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
or like maybe 15 years ago was my last residency.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
consistent.
I started at Sound Fact. Like, I was there for 6 or 7 years, resident, like, every Friday. So that molded me, and I used to play, like, 10-hour sets, like, you know what I mean? Like, a very long period of time. So
Sure.
that's
how you become an expert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that party made me, like, want more. Because it was, like, I was playing such a wide variety of music there because it was so much hours. Then when I started doing, like, the more exclusive things, like with Click and the Central Flies, and, like, you had, like, Jay-Z in the club and Mariah, I had to get rid of all of that stuff. And it turned into, like, you play and make these people happy. And then, like, I had to cut out everything I was doing at Sound, like playing, like, Armand Van Helden records and Michael Jackson records. Or it was, like, whatever you wanted to do. You had 10 hours to express yourself through music.
And this was crates.
Yeah, but this was
6
like
crates, right?
That's what I'm saying. It was just records, but it was amazing because you just had all this time to take people on a journey. People think only house DJs could do that, but it's not true.
No,
Like,
it's not.
we were doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that really haven't heard, like, a Riz or something, like, in that, you know, even now too. But I'm just saying, like, in that era, like, these DJs would take you places.
But I think there wasn't, you know, like back in the day before hip hop DJs were playing, say, the main floor of a club.
Yeah,
You had more freedom.
Yeah.
And people actually went to that room seeking out that music.
Yeah, it was the hip hop
exactly.
room.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So, like, you were getting people who were going in there, and they were going to dance to
Yeah,
hear the
yeah.
hip hop music. So,
Yeah.
and you had people who really wanted to hear the hip hop music.
Well,
so it was different back then.
But also the good thing about Factory was that it was just, I'm sure, like with you over at Limelight, I mean, people were just so fucked up that people would just walk into that room and not really know what they wanted to hear. So you could go there, like, you know what I'm saying? You could play some different things where now it's like, you know, you're like a top 40 club, or, I mean, nowadays it's not even a top 40 club. It's like you're just playing 3 hours.
You know
of
what's
hip-hop,
something I remember?
you know?
Like them having to kick people out at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, now you don't see that much. You see people just trickle out when it's coming close to 4 o'clock. But
Yeah.
back then it was like 4 o'clock came and like it was packed.
What
The
about the
bouncers
line?
were,
What
like,
about the lines?
pushing
though?
everybody out.
Wow.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
about
yeah.
the lines?
The lines
Like,
too.
it was just crazy, man.
So
Just-
when did you make this whole switch to Jersey and take over all the Jersey things?
So like I said, I hit a point where the city, I just felt like limited what my vision was. You know what I mean? Like, it just became like this. I mean, it just became, it's a business at the end of the day, which I understand. You know what I'm saying? People got to make their money, whatever. But I felt as a DJ, I wanted so much more, and New York City wouldn't let me have what I wanted. Like, I wanted a space to create and, like, come in and play, you know, let the DJ curate the music. Nobody in New York City was giving me that opportunity at all. I tried. Like, I would ask people, and they'd be like, yeah, right, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, here's a couple $100 and play your records, and that was what it was.
Yeah, they really didn't care about your vision.
No, you know, and why would they? You know, I was always someone too who ran. I always ran by myself too. Like, I was anti-management. I didn't do it. I built everything on my own. I didn't like try to like go that whole route. You know what I mean?
So then, how did you make this whole connection in Jersey? Who was it that?
So my connection was when I met who was, I think it was Manny the Greek. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
So Manny the Greek, he was doing Abyss Wednesdays.
Yep.
So he, to this day, he still goes out. Like, he was out all the time. I guess he heard me play somewhere. He told Coast and Dimitri, who are the owners of Deco and everything in Jersey, and he told them, was like, you got to check this kid Klutch out. Like, I heard him in the city. Dimitri and Costa called me to go play at Abyss one night, and it was like Unique's when Unique was playing downstairs. So they booked me for the hip hop room, and at this time, like I said, I was playing like a wide variety of music. So when they brought me to Abyss, it was the hip hop room was the hip hop room.
So like when you talk about the wide variety,
Yeah.
you're talking about like the Michael Jackson.
Yeah, like Prince and in the city, like at
Like
Lot
open
61
format.
Central Fly, that stuff, that was kind of like common. Like it wasn't really like you were doing anything super left field, you know what I mean? It was me watching Ben and Riz and these guys and being like, yo, like when Riz played Hit Me With Your Best Shot, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I paid attention, like so.
So how old were you? Because I mean, you know, if you're talking about like, what was your age when you went to Abyss and you did this?
19, 20, maybe 20, 21.
I mean,
think.
that was pretty monumental doing
Probably.
it back then, because that was before that whole wave.
So-
Like, because we had that wave of
Yeah.
like when all the DJs started playing open format, and there was like everybody.
Oh no, I'm talking about before,
I
man.
know,
I'm talking
so
about
that's
yeah,
pretty-
like I'm
that's
talking
pretty
about
impressive,
backpack. So
yeah.
this was before any of that. So when I went to Jersey, it was a hip hop room, but again, like I didn't really party in Jersey. So when I went in there with the New York City mentality. So I'm playing like Bon Jovi record, like, you know, what I've learned in New York City, watching the greats play, like Mark Ronson, all these guys. Like these are who I'm opening for, learning from, you know. So when I went to play there, nobody danced at all. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I was like, I don't care. Like I got, you know, I don't want to say I was cocky, but I was so comfortable in New York. I had my 3-4 nights.
You're like, I'm a New York City DJ.
Yeah, it's like I'm
coming to Jersey.
I'm coming here to do what I do,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
All right, so you were strutting your stuff.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? I went in, I just did what I did, and the crowd wasn't feeling it.
But the owners were like,
But Kos and Dimitri, they're very like, they're on the wave. Like they know what's next or whatever. So when they came in, I remember Dimitri calling me like, yo, we got this club opening called Deco. Like, we're going to be in touch, you know? And then I was like, yeah, cool. You know, to me, I thought I was never going to get hired again. I thought it was one of those things like, yeah, you were great. We'll talk to you later. Deco, I don't remember what year it was, but
so
Deco.
you were there from day one.
From Deco, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they called me in. They were like, look, like, this is what we want. You know what I mean? Whatever you did, no one's doing that out here at all. And to me, I was like, what the hell?
So
Like,
they
this
went
is-
and bought the club and built it around you.
So they bought Deco, and Deco, Abyss was 18 to party, 21 to drink. Deco was like the 21 to 23. Like they went older.
Yeah.
And then they had Richie was the resident of the main floor,
Yeah.
and then they had me downstairs. But downstairs wasn't a hip hop room. That was the first time they were like, you're gonna do whatever you did that night. Like just
play.
you're gonna whatever you feel that you want to do, you're gonna play. I mean, the crowd was just unreal. Like it was an older crowd
And
already.
that had to
you know?
feel good where you had the actual owners of the club behind you.
Well,
you know.
well, when they put me in, they didn't give me that like. They didn't come in like they weren't talking to me like how I'm sure they might have felt. They were kind of like, you know, we're gonna try. We want you to
Like,
do the
we'll
first
put a
night.
bathroom in a kitchen in the DJ booth.
Yeah.
for you.
So they didn't give me like. They didn't say like you could do whatever. They kind of were like, look, we want you to play what
Yeah.
you played. We're going for the older crowd. Like this is something brand new. No one's ever done in Jersey. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I didn't come in as a resident though. Like I just went in as playing the grand opening. I played the grand opening, like I did what I did, and they ate it up because, like I said, it was 23, 24, 25, up to like 30. Like it was an older, well-dressed, good-looking crowd. I don't remember the last time I had that much fun because like New York always had a cool, besides Factory and Tunnel, but when I started getting into like the Central Flies and those places, they always had that cool thing. Even though it wasn't bottle service, it still had that cool aura.
Yeah.
Jersey parties. I just don't know how else to say it. Like
So you did it for years though. Like you were there Wednesday nights for how many years?
Well, no. Wednesday was always unique. That was like where they had me try out. I played a few nights, but Deco was when I took over the Saturday nights. So I was there every Saturday. After that went well, I was like, yo, I want to be back here. I did every Saturday. They heard what I was doing or whatever. They ended up moving what I did to Thursday nights to the main
You were
floor.
on the main floor, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, we have to like get behind this, you know, because this is something that
remember
no one's doing.
I remember Thursday nights was
So-
Klutch night at Deco.
Yeah, so they moved me up to Thursday, and then the cool thing about that was, you know, it took so many years to get there. But when I finally got there, I was like, I can finally like create. Like I can do, like this is my time. You know what I'm saying? Like to create something, I can't put the blame on anyone because, you know, it's always like, well, this promoter won't let me do some, or this management won't let me do that. And then this was my room where they were like, yo, Thursdays, this is you. Like what your vision is what we're gonna back, and we're gonna create something, and we're just gonna go with it.
That's
And we
dope.
had like Jerry, and we had great promoters, and they put the battery in my back. All I had to do was what I started doing was worry about music. It wasn't like
That's it. You had the niche and you just ran with it.
that's what it was. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you were drawing a Jersey crowd, but you were also drawing a Brooklyn and
Yeah,
Staten
Yeah, we
Island
were
crowd.
going. We were going out there.
Yeah, well, at that time, like I already had, my fan base was like built. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't fully there, but it was healthy. Like I did so much in New York and everywhere that I had a team already. So when I went in, it reminded me when I first started. Because when I first started DJing, I was the geek in my room worrying about how someone did a scratch or, so now they're giving me my own night. I went back into the lab and was like, okay, this is just about music, not bring 20 people, bring, all the other
Didn't
stuff.
have to worry about
it was
bullshit.
just, let's worry about the music. And that party, and then another reason that I stayed in Jersey, because after that, I didn't even do anything in New York. Like, people were just like, yo, he cold turkey New York, because to me it was like, what is New York going to give me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to play for, like, I've played for Jay-Z, I played for Mariah Carey, like these celebrities, they come into the club, but what does that do for me? I get to say, yo, I played for Jay.
Yep.
Like, how is that going to make me become Jay-Z, per se? Because that's where my mind, to this day, my mind is still there. Like, I don't want to play for a celebrity, I want to be the celebrity.
Yeah.
I don't care who I'm playing for. Like, I want people to be like, yo, did you hear what Klutch did tonight? Not, yo, Jay-Z was there tonight. Like, that's why I knew I had to leave New York City, because I'm just never gonna get that proper,
Of course.
that proper respect,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, to be able to have a residency and to create your own vibe where people are actually coming to hear what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And, not a lot of DJs get to experience that. And obviously, more house music DJs get to experience than
sure.
hip-hop DJs.
Yeah.
But just to experience that on any level, if you ask any DJ,
Yeah.
and I would probably bet that if you asked a DJ, if he was to play like in a stadium with 20,000 people or play in a club like maybe the size of the Function House, where people are actually coming there to hear what you're going to do, you probably want to play in a place this size.
100%. And that goes like the perfect.
And you still hold some residencies in Jersey.
Yeah, I still do like Mr. East, which is still, like, I've always worked with Coastal
Coastal
Dimitri,
Dimitri.
so I always do whatever.
So that's their
day.
place?
Yeah, Mr. East is their place. They're always popping. Park
So
East.
what happened to like Deco and
So,
Abyss?
well, when we were there, that's when Dimitri and Costa, like, when I came in with my whole thing, they wanted more of it. They were like, it was like a drug to them. They were like, what could we do? And I remember when we used to do the New York City on the Move parties, I remember going to hear AM at Babies. Is it Babies? Baby, I think the club is called.
No, Social Club.
Was it Social? I forget what
The
it was.
first time AM played in New York.
No, I'm talking about in Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas,
When he
yes.
used to when Chris Reedy used to bring us out for the
I
New
forgot
York
the
City
name of the
Moves. I
place.
think it was Babies, but I remember hearing him play, and I told Dimitri, I was like, yo, like, I was just, he had my mind going. I was like, you got to bring out this kid, AM. Like, he was like, forget it. Like, he was just on some like next, like New York, like there was good New York City DJs, and he was good, but he was just a different thing altogether. You know what I mean? He had like those records with the 16 bar intros that like we didn't have, because like New York City DJs, we throw things on the one. You know what I'm saying? So AM came with like, 16 bar intros on his vinyl, and we're like, what is it? Which gave him the room to like cut out records, and it was like a whole different thing that I remember hearing. So Dimitri brought him out. He played
was he
downstairs.
getting those pressed himself? How was he getting those?
I don't even remember. I know Kevin Scott had he was pressing records, but Pop Rocks, they were called. They were like some LA shit. Like, I don't even think we had them here. I used to order them from Kevin Scott's, I don't know if Kevin Scott had a website, or there was a website that I used to get them from.
Okay.
But when we had AM, they booked him downstairs to play, and he didn't have like that fan base yet, but I remember him just murdering it. And then from that point on, Dimitri was like, we want to start doing this, like bringing out people to give the crowd something they never heard. And then we were just bringing out.
Because I remember for a little while, Deco was getting some huge DJs in that place.
Yeah, I mean, they had
Like huge.
They had Steven Jello, Avicii.
They had Eric Murillo.
Eric Murillo, Roger.
A whole bunch of times Murillo was there.
Yeah. So he's a good friend with Dimitri, I believe, and all of them. So, but again,
They're very smart businessmen.
But not only are they smart, I tell everyone, an owner has to be in love with the music and the product more so than the dollar signs.
Yeah.
They really Dimitri would sit in a corner and watch the production of a night go like it was his baby. I can't tell. There's no other owner, to my knowledge, that I've seen sit there and not watch dollar rings and bar rings, and I'm talking about like to watch what he put together unfold. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's going to come if you have the passion for putting the whole thing
Of course, you know what I'm saying? That's like, it goes hand in hand, and that was my opportunity to do what I did, and from that point on, I met everyone, like, because we were, you know, like, I got the chance to bring out people who I fucked with, you know what I'm saying? So it was like Scene and Homicide, we had Vice, Mr. Mauricio, like, just everyone, you know, who was, but they weren't even playing in New York, a lot of these guys. Like, they were just popular in their own cities, but I was just branching out because, you know, I'm a DJ. Like, I keep my ear to the street of what's going on.
Sure.
We were bringing all of these guys out, and I always made sure, though, that I played, because my thing was that I didn't feel like I opened for them, yes, but I felt like this was my thing. So it wasn't like featuring DJ Klutch. Like, I always made sure it was like Vice Klutch or, you know, AM Klutch, Jazzy Jeff Klutch. Like, I was there with it.
And you did the 4 turntable setups. I remember that. It got to a point because I would open and I would never, like, I wouldn't burn these guys, and this is my room, so I built that room to where you could do you could play anything. You could play electro, rock, hip hop, reggae, like, so there was so many things that you could do. When I would open for these guys, I would just go so left and win their respect. So when Jazzy would come back, he'd be like, yo, like, you know, well, we would pitch it like, Klutch wants to do this with you, and then they would say 100% because I won their respect through being a good DJ. Yeah.
It wasn't really...
And that had to feel great.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted was, you know, I wanted to be respected by people who I looked up to, and then on top of that, be one of the greats that you know, that did this, you know, and that was really it.
So let's talk about what you're doing now. You have Electric Bodegas popping.
Yeah,
right?
Production.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Who's your partner? Where do you guys work out of? What studio you're working in?
So my partner is Mike Cash. From Staten Island. He's been producing on his own, like, has done like a million things, like, you know, independently, hip hop, all of that stuff. I always did remixes and blends, and that was like another thing that I did. So my our boy Mike D, who owns Cloud Kicker Clothing, he was like, you guys should link because, you know, you guys have the same passion from Staten Island, like, put it together and we'll see. We ended up meeting and making like remixes and stuff like that, and it used to be Mike Cash and DJ Klutch.
So who came up with the name Electric Bodegas? That's a dope name.
I know, Mike came up with it. You know, well, he came up with like 2 or 3 names. He was throwing around. He said Electric Bodega, and I'm like, yo,
dope name.
It's so dope because it's modern, but it has like that. You know, it's from the streets.
Yeah, bodega.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's where we came from.
Yeah.
So when we started that whole thing, we decided we needed to package it if we're gonna be taken serious and like put a name behind it, a brand behind it, and run with it, and that's what we did. We just put it together.
So you got some stuff coming out?
Yeah, we just dropped the EP on iTunes, Spotify, all of that stuff. 24/7 is called. That's all original production. Dougie F is on it. Nina Sky, Matt Bayless, Natasha Monroe. There's more people.
You have
Pure.
You have a Staten Island rapper on there too. I see.
Critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope I didn't forget anyone, but I think that's it. We had everyone playing, like, our remixes are on rotation in New York, like, on the regular, like on Hot 97. So we wanted to like break off and make original records to show people that we could do this, like, we can make music, and we dropped that. We have like I said, we just did the EP. That was our big focus. We've been putting all that time on that. That finally just dropped a few days ago. It's been great.
Are we going to be hearing some of this tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't put together like a full set.
All right.
I'm kind of treating today as like, play what you want to play.
That's exactly what we want.
Well, yeah, that's. I'm just gonna play. I don't want to like be up here like, you know, being like I don't know the word, but a promoter. And
no, but
like, this is my new single. You know what I
no,
mean?
but you could do that too.
For sure. I mean, I'm sure I'm
that's
gonna play records, but you know.
That's what it's all about here. I mean, the Function House.
I'm gonna hit some for sure.
Is for you to do whatever you want.
Yeah, but the Electric Bodega thing, man, is really good. I mean, I feel like that was my way as far as like where nightlife is now. Like, you're really capped
as what you can make as an open format DJ.
Yeah.
And with the rules and restrictions now in New York City, it's like, how are you even gonna really?
So basically, you want to get it to a point where you're getting booked for Electric Bodega. You're getting bookings to DJ that sound.
Well, ideally, what I would like to do, which I feel like I'm going to do, is when Electric Bodega takes off, because it is in the trap, like, you know, vibe and like festival. Well, it's not really festival sounding, but that's where it's going to start evolving to get to those shows. But I want to get to a level again where I'm basically in the point of my career now where I want to win back the respect level, like to get my brand so hot again where I could start doing whatever I want to do and commanding what people should be doing again. Like, I still care about the culture and the art,
Cool.
but I need to get a big enough voice to be able to voice my opinion. Like, when Kanye, I always use Kanye as an example. When Kanye was talking his shit before he came out, like, I'm the greatest rapper alive, ain't nobody talk about him. When he talks now, you can't run away from it.
Well, he says he's running for president now. So.
But you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, he worked himself up to get the voice. So now when he talks his shit, like, let that man talk his shit. He worked hard enough to talk his shit. I'm 35, man. Like, I'm going to build this brand to the point where I could talk my shit.
So how important
is
social media to this?
Social media is everything. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. I still don't, like, when I DJ, like, and I don't really care if DJs get offended, but it's sick to watch DJs, respected ones at that, sit up there with Snapchat in their face and dancing, and it, like, I understand, like, that's where we are, but that doesn't mean you have to be there. Like, you don't have to feed into everything that's happening in 2016 to stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? You could look at my social media. I don't think anyone could say I've ever faked jacks for a booking or tried to play a certain look or role for a booking. Like, I'm going to do what I do. Like, I'm not going to, so-and-so's dancing now on Snapchat, or so-and-so is doing this and that and the other. I got to do this to stay relevant. So do social media, but do it, to stay true to what you're trying to accomplish. If you even know what you're accomplishing. A lot of people don't know what they're accomplishing.
So no selfies.
I take selfies, but it's
So
like,
you got some selfies of that?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's not really so much that. It's like when I'm playing, like, you're playing for 2 hours, just play, like, DJ. Like, it shouldn't be.
No first class
like,
selfies, right? With the first class sign behind you?
Oh man, it's all the extra stuff. Like, you know what I miss the most about DJing is, when's the last time you saw a promo video where a DJ is DJing? It's not like some house record and it's them walking to the plane, and back in the day, like, you could go, like, everyone used to YouTube videos. Like, AM was at this club, let me YouTube what AM's doing, or this one was at that club, let me, like, and you would listen to the DJ play routine, like, doing what they do.
Yeah.
A lot of DJs ain't talented no more. So you get the back dub music now, and you have them jumping around, but you don't hear nothing no more.
Slow-mo.
It's a shame.
And
it's a shame, but that's,
that's where we are.
Exactly.
But
it's
you don't have.
Unfortunate that people, like, people who spend money or come out to see these DJs play, like, everybody's caught up in that video on the Facebook or the video on the Instagram or the picture on the Instagram, and they're not even focused on the music.
Yeah, but
it's more like the scene than the music.
To go, like, both ways with it, also, I agree, because when I play in New York City, I'm bored as shit as well. So I guess sometimes you gotta dance or whatever to keep yourself entertained, because you're getting told what to play now. Like, it's not. I don't know if this is a secret or if I'm not supposed to talk about this.
Well,
it's a secret
like,
society.
No, it's not a secret.
But, like,
happen. I mean, look,
we've spoke
it's
about it a
always
couple
been that
times.
way, where, like,
Yeah.
an underground scene was always the cool thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean,
But,
so you'll still be able to do what you want to do, but it's going to have to be on an underground scene,
Yeah.
I think.
But now this is the issue. It's like, you'll play in a club in New York City, right? And say they'll book Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg, like someone who, like, has no business DJ, right, in a club. The owner or management won't say a word to that man. Literally, he could play records that you never even heard of in your life for 5 hours. Won't say one word to him. Someone who's been DJing for 15, 20 years, what are you doing? You're playing remixes. Don't play that. You can't play this. Are you crazy? What are you doing? What? Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
puts you on a bad head, though, right?
It puts you on
well,
a terrible
puts you
head.
on a bad
it
head,
used to put me on a bad head. Now when I show up, like when I play these New York City clubs, I do literally exactly what's expected of me. So, but it sucks because then I'll have DJs that come out like, "Oh, I look up to you so much. I can't wait for you to rock." And I'm like, sorry to hear that because
It's not going
gonna
down
happen tonight. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of DJs, when you talk to younger guys, like, "Yo, I heard so and so, like he wasn't as good."
Exactly.
And I'm like, you can't fault the DJ, like, you know. And but a lot of the younger guys don't know how bad it really is out here. So it sucks, man, for the DJs that are really talented. We're not getting a place to like.
Klutch, this is exactly why we built this place.
Which is
Is
dope.
because you get to come here and just get to rock.
Yeah.
You get to scratch. You get
Yeah.
to do live blends and
Yeah.
just be yourself and
Yeah.
and just do what you want.
I'm working on something. This is really super premature. Come fall, to bring back that whole thing in like a nightlife thing. So we'll talk for sure with this lined in and whatever. It'll be cool, but I need to like I can't sit. The person I am and like the hunger I still have, I just can't keep sitting around again.
Yeah.
I feel the same way I felt when I first left and when I created my own. I'm getting that like.
You just
that
got to
itch
do your
again.
own party, man.
I'm getting that itch,
That's
man.
what it comes down
it's
to.
coming.
You
It's
just
coming
do
back
your own party.
to that, you know.
You know, and like people, the real people who truly understand it, they will come.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
yeah, that's the goal, man. Yeah.
So you're gonna play some
Yeah.
records for us?
Yeah. We'll
All right, let's
some-
do
we'll
this.
some things,
We're gonna
sure.
take a 2-minute break. We're gonna get Klutch up on the turntables, and we're gonna rock.